How you doing, Mr. Banks?
I'm good, and yourself?
All right, I'm doing fine. It's good to have you back here on our third session here today, and I'm getting a lot more comfortable with you, feeling like I know you a lot more better, and feel like we're developing a very good action plan toward all the things you wanted to get assessed. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing today? You feeling all right about yourself and the issues that we talked about earlier? Anything new? Anything that could change the way we're doing things or anything like that?
No. As far as doing anything new, I feel as though everything's working fine right now. I know that we said that we were going to establish some things this time, so I'm a little interested about this meeting. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get into today.
All right. Well, I do have a lot of good news for you as far as all the things we've been going on. I know our plan was to, the first thing you wanted to take care of was employment and bring a lot more income into the home so you can, benefit for you and your family and things like that. And the second was, education so you can, improve the things that you feel like you're lacking, your insecurities, so we can get a lot more, a literature life into you and work into you, all right? And the third was to improve your home life. You feel as though everything's still good between you and your wife and things like that, and no more. I know I asked you, were you battling any new things?
But I would say everything is pretty fine with me and my wife at the moment. The only thing that I would say is still just the stress of just not having enough to provide for my family. I think that's just going to stress any family out regardless.
Yes, sir.
So, like I said, we do have a pretty big family, so the support of just having the food and things like that, it can be a burden.
Okay, all right. And as far as your employment, we did reach out. I did go ahead and reach out to a couple of people who you showed interest in as far as the work they do. I know you said you had some experience in shipyard and agriculture, working on farms and stuff like that. So what we did was we actually did find two places that could hire someone with your educational level and experience. So it's an entry-level position. One is actually temporary work at a shipyard. And it's not guaranteed, but it's, week-to-week basis. They'll contact you every week, let you know things they have, your wages, and it'll vary depending on jobs and things like that. But, which is a very good thing to do. It doesn't require any interview and things like that because the work is so immediate. But the other one that I feel as though would be very, very much more lucrative to you is a permanent position in fertilization. And what they do is they work in different agricultural sites. The farmers help them, trying to get their crops to grow and stuff like that. And, being in the winter now, they're trying to, get the lands right, landscape a lot of things. But they have work year round when they're not growing things as well. All right. And before we get into which one you'd like to go through and things like that, I feel as though we should rehearse a few of the, steps the companies may go through when you're going on these types of, interviews, just trying to, put your foot in the world, okay? So would you mind if we, just went over a couple of interview questions that I feel as though they may ask you or things like that, and anything that you don't know, don't worry, we can assess, talk about, and get things together. Would that sound like a plan to you?
Yeah, we'll give it a try. I mean, I can see I haven't been on an interview in a while, so we can give it a shot.
So you're very fine, believe me. We can just talk about some of the progress you made right now. When you came in here in your first session, you felt really down about your current situation and things like that. But now we're looking toward getting you into GED classes, and we have you to job interviews. So anything you feel like you don't do, you've accomplished a lot since you've been here anyway. All right. So I'm gonna get into the first question. So just tell me a little bit about you and about your strengths and why you feel like you're a good asset to this field and job.
So a little bit about myself, I would say that I'm very hardworking. I'm dedicated to whatever the job is. As far as getting the work done, I'm very efficient. Most of the things that I try to do, most of the time it's almost effortless because once I learn that one thing, even with my lack of education, once I learn it, I'm more of a hands-on person. I can do it. As far as my strengths, I would say that I'm very passionate about what I do and my craft. Not to sound like, I'm very arrogant or anything like that, but I do put a lot of time and patience into the things that I like to do so that way that those bosses and those managers can see that I'm actually putting forth the effort and that I do appreciate the job. I'm always willing to learn new things. I'm always willing to help. I'm a team player. The only thing that I would say that will kind of be like my downfall with the job is the transportation if I were to get one.
Okay. All right. I loved your answer there. I love your answer. You identified a lot of things about yourself, okay? But as far as some things, a little bit of advising I would give to you. Don't worry that question the answer that you gave me, if I was an interviewer, I would give you the job. But just being as your advocate, somebody who'll be representing you between these jobs is two things I just wanted to point out. As far as your transportation, we've like I said before, once I get in touch with the jobs, I will figure out a way for you to get there as well. So your transportation, we already got you in the system with a a transportation system called Road to Recovery. And what they do is anybody who falls below the poverty line or low income or anything like that, they provide services to them no matter. They give you a certain mile radius. You might have to get into another cab so they can bring you to the job, but you'll always be there on time. They'll let you know if you're late, and they'll provide excuses to your job as well. And also, when you're answering questions about yourself, try to focus more on your strengths and what brought you there and what you feel like you provide an asset to there. You know that you've provided very, very good answers, but the one thing when you said you feel like your lack of education, don't think of it as a lack sometimes. Just think of it as maybe a missed opportunity that you're going to take advantage of. Because as your advocate, as your representative with these GED programs, with these jobs, with these improving getting you services, improving your TANF benefits for your daughter, which is another thing I'm gonna talk to you about. All of these are going to take care of any obstacles or issues that you have. So when you're on these job interviews, you can just talk about things that represent you, the things you bring to the table. All right, sound good? All right. So now, can you tell me a little bit more about how maybe your wife feels that being that you're looking to change the whole entire landscape of the way you guys are doing things? Has she talked to you about anything she would like to apply for, maybe be eligible for, anything like that can help you while you're taking care of yourself to keep it as though there's pull and tug within the household?
My wife, she's a little bit concerned about the time that I would be away from home, just about, as far as these programs, like my GED programs. She's all for me getting it done, but my wife, she just requires a little bit more from me, because she is disabled at the moment.
Okay.
So I am trying, she needs my undivided attention, and like I said, it can be a stressor because we don't have the income as far as, trying to get her medication, and also taking care of the children and things like that. So I have to be there. So it would be great if you can provide me with those transportation services, so the way that I can have a way to pick up her medications, and even if it can, be as a benefit to them as well, as far as my wife, taking her to her doctor's appointments and things like that. I don't know how that works, but I'm sure I'll be able to look into it once you give me that information. So hopefully it'll help me out.
Don't worry, we can assess all of that. But one thing that you did just mention that I wanted to talk about, you said that she is on disability. Has she applied for any of the benefits that comes with that? Like, is she getting disability income to represent, to substitute any workforce income that she had, or any other things like that can maybe benefit you guys?
It's a little different. It's a little different as far as my wife and I. As far as my wife, she's not that type of person who's willing to go out and she's very prideful. So she's not that type of person who will go out and get more information or anything like that. I try to tell her, if you are disabled, you aren't able to work, they provide us with some type of care, but she's not willing to do that. She's not looking for a handout. So I feel as though it's my job as, the husband and the provider, it's my job to come out here and, to seek these benefits and inquire about what's out there in these resources. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, well, I understand that. Privacy can be a thing. That's the thing we hold to our standards. Is very, very, very important. Everything we talk about here will remain confidential, and I'm your representative. The only ears that are needed to hear this. All right. So, what we do have in place for your wife's situation, we do have a line where you can call and tell us about your services, get us your social security number, we can look up your income, things like that, and she can apply through the phone. Now, yes, she will have to talk to another social worker. They will have to talk to in some way because they have to, have some type of direct communication. But she doesn't actually have to come down to the site to receive any type of, resources or public benefits. I know there are also online applications, but there may be some technology, disparities in the home or whatever, or so have you. But if she wants to go that route, we have that route as well. So I'm gonna leave you with the line number, the email, and all that to us, so she can, if she feels like it, of course, if you feel comfortable enough bringing it upon to her, that she can come to us for different things like that. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna review these action plans and review certain things that you've done, and then we're gonna go over the contract between your situation and all that, and then we're gonna get it all signed and sent off to these different jobs and these GED placements, so we can get the ball rolling. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do, we solidified was your employment, and we worked on your interview skills, and we got you 2 different offers in shipyard and agricultural work, like you said. Mm-hmm. And second, we got you into GED programs, and we're gonna go through which classes you would like to apply for, which ones interest you the most, that would help you in your life and your surroundings like that. And we're going to talk about any, maybe home-based things that can help you with those certain things. A lot of times schoolwork comes with a lot of home assessments and stuff like that. And I know with your situation and everything, that can be a little challenging and stuff like that. So we're going to get you, I wanted to talk about the size of your family and the living space that you have. So we do offer Section 8 housing as well. I know you said that you love the way where you stay, and it's such a rural community, and you're able to benefit off your neighbors and things like that. But one of the observable inconsistencies I see is that there's you, your wife, correct, and your 6 children, and your grandson, and that's what 6. There's 9 individuals in the home. Correct. With you and your wife?
Yes.
All right, so there's 9 individuals. I, with all due respect to you, and I know you're a loving family and a loving man who cares for your family. I believe that that's a little bit of a tight space for such a capacity of family. So would you feel comfortable maybe applying? We have some different, depending on your dependents and people in the home, they give you different sizing and spaces and stuff like that for affordable house care. Is that something you would be looking into? Maybe I know relocation can be sometimes stressful. Is that something you would like to benefit from?
Sure. I always want to look out for my family as well. Whatever can be the best option.
All right. I like that. And I think we've assessed the transportation and all those things, and I think we're setting the ball is really moving, and I just wanted to tell you that what you can't do is lose sight of the end and what we're here exactly for. So our general purpose is I don't want you to get discouraged if any other issues come about or anything like that, because we've made a lot of progress from where we started. I promise you. Okay, all right. And I'm gonna get you to sign this contract right here, and this is just the overview of everything we just went over. Just your action plan, your interests, all the things that you feel like have been done good. If you see anything wrong, you feel you want me to change, please just let me know. But after this, we're going to go through reframing and looking at some different perspectives, and maybe from your children's point of view and stuff like that. Okay.
All right, no problem.
All right.
And will I be able to receive a copy of this myself?
Yes, sir. We can make a copy for you as soon as you leave here. This is no problem with us.
Alrighty, I think I dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's.
All right. So, and I wanted to point out that this is a very good signature here, Mr. Banks. I remember you telling us that your reading and writing skills were not up to your, up to part of the way you like them, but I do see some strength in you. I do believe that, where there is drive, there is knowledge to be obtained. Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And As far as what I mentioned before we got to talking about the contract, I've gotten your point of view from a lot of things because I asked you for I don't just come in here try to solve other people's problems because people need to tell you how they feel sometimes, and a lot of times we lose sight in looking at things from other people's perspectives and think about how they may feel and things like that. Okay, and what I like one small homework for you to do. It's not nothing too big. It's just when you're going through different situations and stuff like that, just try to put into perspective the thoughts of your I know your married couples always exchange thoughts all the time, but your children and also from the youngest to the oldest, because in adolescent years and early years, they can all be going through a lot of different emotions and stuff like that. So looking at the perspective of them, trying to get back and forth from school and set an example for you, make sure they don't get you in any trouble and things like that. I'm sure they've grown up a lot faster than they had to. So, do you feel as though they are in a good place right now? And if not, are there any ways you think that you can grow closer to them from a different standpoint?
Closer to
your children in the home.
my children, as far as growing closer to my children, you know how kids are, they're just growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later, they're going to be hopefully out and, learning from
Yes, sir.
learning from my mistakes and not
Yes.
taking those mistakes and, just using them to the best of their advantage. So, as far as growing close to my children, I just feel as though I would just want them to understand everything that I'm going through at this moment.
Yes.
So that way that they can prepare for themselves and how to avoid these things. And to just, take education and everything that's offered to them seriously.
Okay. All right. I like that. I wanted to let that be the last question I wanted to ask you because I feel like it was the most important because last session you identified that family was your most important thing to you. So after assessing all your exterior plans and starting to talk about you and what the things you do things for, the drive behind all these things you want to improve. All right. So what I'm going to do is now, where I think it's time to choose for which, employment opportunity you would like to tackle first. And we can, they both have given me, the one that requires an interview, the permanent position has given me an interview date and things like that. We can set that up for you. I'll send them over the referral and all that things. And after that, we'll talk about the education and which GED placement you would like to be in, whether it be online, in class, and things like that. So the temporary shift work that they'll contact you weekly and they'll be a varied schedule depending on what they offer. Would you like to tackle that or the fertilization job that has a more routine schedule?
I would like to tackle the fertilization job because I know that you said that the first one was more of a seasonal part-time job, and I would rather work full-time, so that way I don't feel like I'm wasting any time, even though both of them do sound great.
Okay.
But I would like one that's more long-term.
Okay. And again, I do think that is the best choice, but as your representative, I have to bring you any type of offers that come your way. They have to be set in stone. Make sure you know about them, all right?
Right.
There could be another reason why you would choose the other, all right? And you actually have two choices when we're talking about the GED programs, okay? They have one that's 100% online based, and there's another one that is in class with just, a couple of, cancellations due to, weather or anything like that, okay? So both of them will be starting a week after your employment because you have to have some type of income coming in to qualify for these services. So would you like to do more in-class, hands-on, try to learn things, straight from the professor or educator's mind, or would you try to learn things at home, in a more private area? Which one would be more beneficial?
I would prefer to do them hands-on in class, only because that way if I have any questions, I can ask the professor. Because if I decided to take the assignments home or try to work from home, I probably won't get as much done because, like I said, my wife does require a lot of attention. So I'm going to kind of put it off, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. I do. And I do commend you again, Mr. Banks, that you've come a very, very long way since our first interaction. I do see a lot of things in you that maybe you might have believed you could get to at this point, but I did see it in our first meeting here. All right. And again, I think we're getting toward all the things you need as far as, you know, job placement, education, and improving your home life. And we're thinking about everything within your home. And my new job is to try to get you some more better housing to, you know, better suit the number of dependents and your spouse as well. Okay. So in our next session, that's what we'll talk about. And I appreciate you coming back again with us. All right.
No problem.
All right.